Jalen Hurts inking a $255 million deal, 179 fully guaranteed. What's it mean for Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert? What's it mean for Lamar Jackson? We're going to break all that down and more. We're also going to address the Eagle hate out there. People just hating on the Eagles. This team's going to make the NFC Championship game. I hate to break it to you, all you Eagle haters out there. We're talking about all this and more. Answering your phone calls, the Fantasy Football Show. Breaking news edition begins right now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Jalen Hurts, baby. This guy's getting a $255 million bag with a 179 guaranteed number, which is going to fuel a lot of Lamar Jackson speculation. Will Lamar be upset? Will Lamar now dig his heels in deeper? We warned everybody about this, that a potential Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow extension could make this Lamar situation more complicated. Because now Lamar's going to want more from the Ravens. Now Lamar's going to want more from his offer sheet that he gets after the NFL draft, because it appears nobody's given Lamar an extension before, or an offer sheet before the NFL draft. He's certainly not getting traded before the NFL draft. He's probably not coming back to the table and negotiating a very nice deal that he thinks is nice, because now things have just got a whole lot nicer. You can't have nice things in Baltimore, apparently. But let's not talk about Lamar right now. Let's talk about this man right here, Jalen Hurts, who inked a $255 million extension, including 179, a little above 179, fully guaranteed. Hurts becomes the highest paid player in NFL history in a deal negotiated by Nicole Lynn of Clutch Sports Group. The Eagles, the Eagles are ecstatic. Eagle fans everywhere have to be just thrilled as can be, because this guy's an absolute monster. Hurts gets that $110 million fully guaranteed at signing, third most ever. $110 million fully guaranteed at signing. We said this would happen. And here's the whole, Lamar's not going to get that. Owners are banding together, locked arms, not wanting to give a bunch of guaranteed money. No one wants to give the Deshaun Watson money out there. Look, it's happening. And so that's off the table in terms of a reason why Lamar's not getting a contract. The main reason Lamar's not getting a contract is because the man doesn't have an agent, and that's his own fault. This guy right here, Hurts, is getting 110 fully guaranteed at signing, the third most ever, and 126 fully guaranteed before year two. Before year two, he gets 126 fully guaranteed. Now the bar has been set high for Lamar, because Lamar was looking at that 133 fully guaranteed 3-year deal. And as a couple people have pointed out, one being Drew Rosenhaus, one of the best and most aggressive agents in the NFL. Drew Rosenhaus said, you don't have to beat the $230 million guaranteed deal, fully guaranteed, that Deshaun Watson had if you're Lamar. All you got to do is get a better deal by year 3, a better year by deal 2, and be out in 3 years. Do a 3-year deal. You don't have to do a 5-year deal. Do your 3-year deal. Lamar wants to do a shorter deal anyway. Do your 3-year deal. Just make your fully guaranteed number through 3 years bigger than Deshaun Watson's. And then you've beat Deshaun Watson. You don't have to say, I got to get 230 fully guaranteed. Everybody expecting the number to be 230 fully guaranteed, and if it isn't, then the players didn't get what they want and the owners won. That's not true. It doesn't have to be fully guaranteed. Everybody focusing on fully guaranteed the entire contract is missing the point. It's all about guaranteed money, and guaranteed money through X number of years. So this right here sets a huge bar. 110 fully guaranteed at signing, third most ever. 126.5 fully guaranteed before year 2. 179 million fully guaranteed. He gets a raise this year, including $23.29 million signing bonus, and now is signed through 2028 on a deal that lets Philly keep the team intact. This team is an absolute monster, a monopoly. And then we got this Adam Schefter report here. Next up, in no particular order, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow. The stage has been set. More news here. Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni on Jalen Hurts in January. It's like having Michael Jordan out there. He's your leader. He's your guy. And they got their guy locked up, and all these Eagle haters out there. Oh, the Eagles are falling apart. Eagles, Smitty, have you seen the Eagles? They're losing guys left and right. This is hilarious. Anybody that says the Eagles are on the decline, the Eagles are falling apart, they watched their team not make the Super Bowl. That's what you're hearing. You're hearing jealousy. You're hearing people that are upset that the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles have the number 10 and number 30 overall draft picks in this year's first round of the 2023 NFL Draft. They could take Bijan here. They could take offensive line. They could take defensive players at 10 and 30 and fill all their voids. And this team has got more draft picks. It's not like they're done at that point either. So it's hilarious when an Eagles hater comes out here and says something near moronic, like the Eagles are falling apart. The Eagles are going to not be a potential NFC Championship team. This team is going to almost walk into the NFC Championship game. Almost walk right into the NFC Championship game because of the additions they get at 10 and 30 overall alone. This team is going to be an absolute monster like normal, per usual. It's going to be the usual for the next 10 years, watching the Eagles just basically have almost a fast pass like at Disneyland. Oh, I've got a fast pass. Excuse me, fast pass. Let me through. I'm going to the NFC Championship game. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're making yourself look absolutely ridiculous if you say things like, the Eagles are falling apart. The Eagles have lost a lot of guys. The Eagles aren't going to be the same team. You look absolutely ridiculous when you put that hat on, Bob. When you wear that hat, Bob, you look ridiculous. Hurts is him. Hurts is him. Hurts earned every single bit of this money. Hurts is a top 1 to 5 guaranteed fantasy football quarterback every single season for the next 10 years. Hurts is an absolute monster on the ground. Punch that thumb up button on your way in the door. What's this all mean for Lamar? What does it mean for Lamar? And here's another interesting note here. Jalen Hurts, $51 million. Highest paid QBs in the NFL in new money average per year. $51 million for Jalen Hurts. $49 million for Aaron Rodgers. $46.1 million for Kyler. Deshaun Watson, $46 million. Notice he's not number one anymore. People keep referencing Deshaun Watson's $46 million contract per year, but they keep forgetting that it's not just about the guaranteed money. It's about how quickly you earn that guaranteed money and what options you have after that contract's over. So in the case of Lamar, if Lamar had a smart agent, and he doesn't because he has himself and his mom as his agents, his mom's probably an amazing person, okay? And maybe she's a really good negotiator when it comes to something that doesn't relate to a multi-million-dollar contract. But Lamar Jackson's not smart right now. He's not playing the smart game. He's not, because if he was smart, he would have an agent out there that's literally painting a picture of Lamar Jackson getting something along the lines of this right here. Something along the lines of a 100 million fully guaranteed at signing. That's what's important. The 126 guarantee before year two. 126.5 fully guaranteed before year two. That's what's important. Lamar Jackson wants to get 125, 130 fully guaranteed before year two. The guy wants to get 3 years, $140 million in a 3-year period of $150 fully guaranteed dollars in a 3-year period. Now the number is bigger. In Lamar's head, his number is now 170. Where is this? 179. That is Lamar's new number in his head. 250, 179. This number right here, fully guaranteed, 179, is Lamar's new number. And this almost makes it a lot harder for him to go back to Baltimore. We knew this was going to happen. We knew this would happen. And part of us have to blame the Baltimore Ravens. Part of us have to blame that Lamar just doesn't know what he's doing. He thinks he's paving the way for quarterbacks everywhere to not have agents. There's a lot of blame to go around. A lot of it to Lamar. But I don't know. This gives me a lot less hope that the Ravens, who didn't want to give Lamar what he wanted, are going to be able to meet his expectation. Because what do you think, Lamar? Is there a chance in hell that Lamar is going to lessen his stance now? Does anybody believe Lamar Jackson's going to, if he was inching toward maybe taking a little less than he wanted to get a deal done? It's almost near impossible. It's almost near impossible. You're not with her. What's this? I'm not sure what this means. You might have to reword this. BR. I don't know what you're trying to say here. LR not with Hurts money. I don't know what that means. I don't speak shorthand like that. I'm good, but not that good. Thank you. Appreciate you, Stopper, in the building. G's on the deal. Part of the blame, Cleveland and Deshaun Watson. A little bit, but not much, man. Deshaun Watson's contract's no longer relevant to that conversation anymore. Everyone keeps mentioning the Deshaun Watson deal and everything. This right here blew it out of the water. Like, we could say, oh, fully guaranteed. Yeah, sure. But he's not getting the amount of money fully guaranteed in a shorter period of time. Jalen Hurts, yeah, he's only getting $179 fully guaranteed, but he's not signed through, this is a good contract. This is a good contract. This is a $255 million extension that includes that $179 fully guaranteed with the quicker money earned in terms of guaranteed money. There's different ways to look at it. So Deshaun Watson's deal in some ways is better because he's getting $230 on 5 years. But in some ways, this guy's getting the better deal because he's going to hit those numbers quicker and he's going to get fully extended again before his contract's up. So that's what people need to look at, is like, this guy is, maybe he's only getting $179 fully guaranteed, but at what point does he get his extension? At what point does he get, year 4? Year 3? When's he going to get another extension when he's already getting $179 fully guaranteed? That's the part that Lamar's not looking at. That's the part Lamar doesn't have an agent to figure out and say, Lamar, you got to look at this from a different angle and lens. This deal is better for Jalen Hurts in that sense. He's going to get re-upped in year 4. He's going to get re-upped and get way more. This deal is perfect for him. It gives him so much money guaranteed up front. Lamar is going to struggle to grasp what's going on. Lamar is going to struggle to come to terms with what's going on. And the Ravens, I hate to say it, but the Ravens' shot at getting Lamar just got kicked in the nads. It just got kicked in the nads. The odds of Lamar signing a new deal, getting a big inked long-term contract extension, re-upping with the Ravens, it just got kicked in the nads. Not saying it can't happen, but the odds of it are a lot less now. Steven says, only Smitty. I don't know what this means, only Smitty. What do you mean? Can't re-up in 5 years. Thomas says, there's also a no trade clause in this as well, which is fantastic for this guy. Burrow deal coming inbound. Yes, loading. Burrow's deal's loading. Herbert's deal's loading. Get ready for it. Dial into the phone line. Let's
call into the show. Call into the show.
Let's go. Yeah, Burrow's deal is going to be the one that puts a fork in the Lamar Jackson staying in Baltimore situation. That fork is going to be the only thing that I could see happening with the Lamar, and this might be where it goes, is Lamar doesn't get an extension, right? He doesn't get an offer sheet. And at the end of the day, he ends up going back to Baltimore to play on his $32 million tag. And he's basically banking on himself. And in a sense, it's not the end of the world for Lamar to get $32 million and then get his new fat contract when contracts are going up every time one gets signed. So, it's not the end of the world for him. But I certainly feel like that's the only option of playing in Baltimore. And it may end up being the only option at the end of the day if another team says, look, Lamar, we're not giving you Jalen Hurts and Burrow money. You're going to get slightly below those guys. And I think he deserves to get not right next to it, but, something a couple notches below, like where he's a top 7, top 8, top 7 quarterback in terms of money paid. Like, he needs to get that. I think my phone line needs to be restarted. Hold on one second. Let me see. Phone line is... Yeah, I got to restart it. 1 second. Phone line's open. Okay. Phone line's open. Dial in. I got the Bruce calling in. What's up? What's up, Brucey?
I am on the Bob side on this Jalen Hurts deal, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna stick up for it and have a point that maybe you disagree with or agree with.
Okay, hit me with it.
What happens when his receivers contract's up? What happens when his offensive line's contract's up? What's he gonna do? That's why Tom Brady took them non-paying like big money contracts, so he could have his line, so he could have his receivers. Don't look like he's doing it.
Well, I hear you, but at the same time, we heard this when Mahomes signed his 10-year deal, bro. We heard they'd never sign another player. They never fixed the offensive line. It was done. We heard that, bro, over and over and over. There was no probably bigger talk when Mahomes signed his deal than that the Kansas City Chiefs were done. Like they were going to be pigeonholed. They're going to be able to unable to build around Mahomes. Bro, it was the talk of the town. And so the same thing here. The salary cap goes up 20%, 20 to 22% every 2 years. So I have no concerns about what happens 2 and 3 and 4 years from now when they've got all that cash injection. So I hear what you're saying. It's a valid concern, but I think your concern will be walked down 2 years from now. Not to mention you can restructure and do all kinds of things and move money around. So the cap is fake to a degree. Obviously, at some point you run out of wiggle room, but it takes a while. It takes a while. There are teams that sign players. Like Aaron Rodgers was inked to his big fat contract like when they were still, I think they were still like 1 million under the cap or over the cap or something. It's all fake, man. It's all fake. It's all just a bunch of numbers that a bunch of guys in boardrooms move around. Will they run into a problem where they can only bring X number of guys back? Maybe. But I think a lot of people want to play there, Brucey. A lot of people want to play in Philly. A lot of people want to win championships. And now you've got a quarterback. You've got a culture. And the Eagles have changed their culture. And the Eagles now are a place where people want to go play football. So you make some valid points, but I think that at the end of the day, they're not going to be concerns. Look at how good KC is, man. Look how good KC signed a 10-year, $500 million deal with Mahomie.
I thought Mahomie, all his big money was at the back end now. Like his beginning end was small. Then it got bigger at the end, towards the end.
Well, sometimes, like in terms of that upfront money, that's better. Hurts gets $110 million fully guaranteed at signing. So, of that $255 million, $110's fully guaranteed at signing. So these contracts are made in a way that there's maneuverability downstream too.
So whatever's left from the $79 million, that's all he has now. If he gets hurt, because he already signed for the 110, if I'm right.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it looks. I promise you.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'll admit to you, I'm an Eagles hater, so.
Yeah, it's okay, Bruce. It's okay, Brucey. 10, yes, but 30. Come on, Smitty, you're trolling now. I don't know what you're talking about, Dwayne. I have no idea what you're even talking about. So maybe define it.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I have no idea what. Come on, what? Come on, what? You didn't even clarify what you're saying. Fields going to get a contract before Lamar. Says Frankie. Might be right. He might be right. Right. Look, Lamar's in a bad spot. Lamar's probably going to play. PVD says change the battery in your smoke alarm, Brucey.
My smoke alarm?
Yeah. What's that beep in the background? Beep.
I have cats.
Oh, those are cats, bro. It sounds like a smoke alarm.
Yeah, cats.
Maybe Bruce doesn't even realize
little,
the smoke alarm. You know when your smoke alarm beeps so much you just it becomes part of your day? Maybe Bruce doesn't even know he has a smoke alarm going off in the background. That's a smoke alarm, Bruce. Yeah. That's a smoke alarm.
I have no idea. Let me look. Let me see this.
Bruce, he doesn't even know. Bruce, you've heard it so many times. It's just, that's common. That's a common beep you hear every 15 seconds in your life. You just don't even, hey, Bruce, don't unplug it. Don't unplug it. We want you safe, okay? At least beeping, we know it's still working. Change that detector. Fields gonna get his contract. If I was another team, i.e. San Francisco, Detroit, give up 11. Oh no, sorry, hold on. Let me drag this on screen. It's too small to read over there. Give up 1 first rounder, send a vet QB, and take Lamar. Steven, it's not that easy. The Ravens aren't sending Lamar packing for 1 first rounder. They're gonna send at least. It's gonna cost 2. It's going to cost 2. I mean, it depends on the vet quarterback, I suppose. Hurts setting off smoke alarms with that fire contract is correct. I think Rachaad White could be the next Kenneth Walker. He definitely could be, Gilly. He's on the Moon Man for a reason last year. Brucey, hang tight real quick, Bruce. Put it on mute if you don't mind. We hear, I don't know if you're driving down the freeway, letting the hair flow in the wind as you celebrate this Jalen Hurts signing. But we're going to go over to Axe real quick. Axe, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, Smitty?
What's up, pal?
All right. Hey, listen. I kind of think it's really unfair to Lamar for the simple fact is that his best weapons for years been Mark Andrews, not Jalen Hurts. He have 2 phenomenal receivers. Plus, he have a Goddard for his tight end. Plus, some of those other guys, the organization has been providing them with weapons. I think that, Lamar have a lot of lack of weapons that, he wasn't able to use like the rest of those guys, like Joe Burrow. He has plenty of weapons to throw to, plenty of options, Whereas Lamar, he getting Odell if he do sign back, but then we don't know what Odell going to do. To me, if they really would want to help him out and encourage him, they would reach out to D-Hop. And that'll, put him in a situation that's the way he could be successful,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they said there's a report out there. There's a couple reports out there, and I do believe there's some validity to them. I don't know that they're fully 100% accurate, but there's a couple reports out there that said that Lamar said, go get Odell and Hopkins and then we'll talk. And they said, we'll get one of them. We'll get one of them. And they got one of them. But at the end of the day, this still comes down to the money, not the wide receivers. And I agree with you, and I've beat this like a dead horse, bro, over and over, that Lamar is absolutely 100% underutilized, overused, overabused, a bust in the making. Every single year he's in Baltimore, I've called him a bust for 3 straight years, and he's completely disappointed 3 straight years in a row. I do put the onus on a combination of things, one being the Baltimore Ravens and their lack of support for him, one being Lamar and some of his style of play. But you need to, people are not, I don't think they give Lamar enough credit and enough potential upside if he lands in an environment where he's got weapons like let's say in Atlanta, which Atlanta appears to be out, which is ridiculous to me that Arthur Blank loves Deshaun Watson, wants to go after Deshaun Watson, will do anything to get Deshaun Watson, gets outbid in the 11th hour, and doesn't have an interest in going after a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson. Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback. He's a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. I'm sorry, than Deshaun Watson. Lamar Jackson's better. His winning record alone proves that. And number two, everything we know and everything we say about Lamar comes from a angle of not having a supporting cast, just like you alluded to, and as I've alluded to for a long time now here, the last couple months, just almost weekly, I do a video on this. It's ridiculous, bro. He has no weapons. Lamar has no weapons. Fields had no weapons. The way Lamar and Fields are both judged, when you talk about these guys and their upside, if they're in different environments, and Fields is now in a different environment. He's in his own situation, but it's much improved, and they're building around him. Fields is going to go to the moon. People are ridiculous on doubting Justin Fields. He's about to explode. Lamar Jackson, even in Indianapolis, it'd be night and day. And this guy's a proven winner. His record shows it. He's one of the most winning quarterbacks in the National Football League. All he needs is weapons, bro. All he needs is weapons. He won't get him in Baltimore, though. I'll tell you that right now. If he goes back to Baltimore, whether it's on his $32 million non-exclusive tag and he plays that out because he doesn't get an offer sheet, he doesn't go anywhere, he doesn't get, signed to an extension, because I think this news right here by Jalen Hurts kind of throws that opportunity out the window, because the Ravens are not wanting to pay him this kind of money, and Lamar Jackson seeing this kind of money is going to not make him eager to sign for a lesser amount than he was originally wanting. So the end of the day, he goes back to Baltimore, whether it's on an extension he doesn't like, or a new contract he doesn't like, or on the $32 million deal, and I think he busts in Baltimore. I think they run him into the ground, bro, especially if they don't plan on having him past the 1 year. They're going to run him into the ground. What ends up happening? He gets banged up and sits out the year again. If Lamar Jackson gets some sort of injury and he's getting paid $32 million and he's worried about his next contract, just like his PCL injury last year, and you can't really blame him too much, but he's going to sit out X number of games at the end of the year and not return. Why would he return if he's trying to get the bag the next year? So you got to ask yourself, if you're Baltimore and you have the option of getting rid of him, okay, let's say in some sort of trade, let's say they get him, they convince him to sign his non-exclusive tag. He needs to sign that in order to get traded. If you're Baltimore, aren't you kind of concerned you're going to spend $32 million for a guy that might sit out after, let's say, 10 games? I would be. If I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I have no faith that Lamar is going to literally play if he gets banged up. So there's a lot of concerns all around Lamar staying put. You know what I'm saying? You there, pal? Let's go to Bruce. Bruce. I don't know if my phone line died. Bruce or Axe, are you there? Where you at, broskies? I may have to restart my phone.
I was on mute.
Oh, go ahead, Bruce.
Oh, with this whole Lamar thing, he might. I think it decreases his value. I don't think it increases it. I think if a team sees, like, they can pay Hurts for this, or they can pay, just because he of his attitude. That's my opinion. This goes to show his attitude.
Yeah.
So I think it decreases him.
Dwayne says Lamar is a top 12 QB. What does that mean? Dwayne, is this the same guy that said that something about, come on, Smitty, and then didn't...
Well, he is a top 12, but he's not top 5.
Well, that's like saying he's top 32. Like, what does this mean, Dwayne? He's top 12. Of course he's top 12. Lamar never had any good wide receivers. Dude is good. But you said top 12. That doesn't sound good. He's way higher than top 12. Cage, if you're going to make an argument that Lamar has no weapons and justify his shortcomings based on that, then you have to do the same with Deshaun Watson when he was in Houston. Look, he had Hopkins, bro. Like, I don't know that you can say that. I don't think you can say that. He had Hopkins. There was definitely talent there. I disagree. And not to mention, I mean, any different than I judge Lamar. Lamar has had good times in Baltimore too. When all things are perfect, he was an MVP. You know, like he had Hollywood Brown. He's had some weapons along the way. Mark Andrews is healthy. Things can be okay. He's got a good winning record. You know, there's definitely some upside, but at the end of the day, he falls short, and so did Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, I don't think I can use that same logic and say that because Watson did well in Houston X number of years or whatever that Lamar should have or could or whatever. They're different situations, and the fact that they run Lamar into the ground, bro. The fact that Lamar's running 200 times a season, he's going to continue to break. Not to mention, Lamar has that PCL injury that is not necessarily going to go away. I want people to fully understand what I'm saying here. Lamar Jackson, here's your knee. Inside the middle of your knee, you have a PCL and an ACL. And Lamar Jackson had a grade 2-3. Borderline grade 3 PCL tear. You know what grade 3 means, Brucey? That means totally destroyed. Like, even if it's attached still, it's not doing any good. It's so stretched out. So borderline 2-3. He almost had such a big PCL tear that it required surgery. What does that mean? It's not like your ACL and PCL just retighten. You know, like if you tear let's say your MCL, and you have a grade 1 or even a grade 2 tear, it can heal. It can heal. It's not like it's laxed and loose and it'll never tighten or be as strong again. It can. Your ACL and your PCL are a little bit more worrisome when they're stretching it all. Think of it like this pen in your two knee joints, right? Your ACL and your PCL are responsible for keeping that knee joint tight. So when you bend, everything's very, very tight. It doesn't let the knee slide that way or that way. That's the design of the PCL and ACL. So he stretched his PCL enough that it's got some lax to it, bro. And it's not like that thing's going to get back to 100%. And so his knee's going to be just a slight bit vulnerable going forward. And if he goes out into a Baltimore situation and is asked to run a 200 times, 200 totes of the rock, his risk of injury is greater this year than it was last year. And so I don't like that. And I'm not saying that he isn't a big injury risk moving forward because of that. He probably is. But you need to put him in a place where he's surrounded with talent. You need to shove him into an Atlanta where he's got Kyle Pitts and Drake London, but Arthur Blake doesn't obviously know what value is at quarterback. I'm not saying Ritter can't impress us, but good God, you could get Lamar Jackson right now. I don't understand why teams aren't even trying. You know, even with the whole let's wait until after the NFL draft, which I think it's going to be night and day difference in the interest for Lamar once the draft is over and these 2023 picks have been spent, and it's just people giving up arbitrary 24 first and 25 first instead of giving up a very high, you know what it is. You know, like the Colts can't give up their 4th overall. They want Lamar. They probably would go after Lamar, but they can't surrender this. Not to mention if Anthony Richardson falls, they're going to take him and then they're going to be out of the game. Tennessee doesn't want to give up their 11 pick. New England doesn't want to give up their 14. Washington, their 16. These are all very high draft picks. Nobody wants to surrender in a offer sheet to Lamar. They want to wait till the draft's over so that they can surrender 24 first rounders and 25 first rounders.
Smitty, let me ask you something, Smitty.
Let's go to Axe real quick and then Bruce. Go ahead, Axe.
Now, how many picks that's 1 through 4? They have a lot of, in history, a lot of busts. You know, even though they were high picks, but they didn't live up to the potential where they was drafted, you know. You know what you're working with Lamar, you know. if I was Indy personally, I would give up the 4th pick for him because I know what I'm getting. These other quarterbacks, you don't know. 9 times out of 10, they're going to be backups all their life. You know, you rarely, I don't hardly see any stars coming out, you know. I see some potential, some projects, you know. Learning the system, some development, you know, you coach them here, coach them there. But I would give up the 4th pick if I was Indy because you have a young player. Lamar's 26 years old. You know what you get. You have the weapons to surround him. I'd give up the 4th pick for him. It's a win-win, you know?
I wouldn't blame you for wanting to. And Dwayne, I don't know. Dwayne definitely sounds new. I haven't seen Dwayne before, but Dwayne says, why is nobody talking about Lamar's injuries? Dude is done. Come on, Dwayne. You're better than that, bro. Call into the phone if you want to debate this. I'll definitely give you the floor and let you explain yourself. And I don't need to go at you or anything. I just want to hear your perspective. But this is an odd perspective. He's done. He's done. How is he done, bro? Is he a concern? I just went over that, Dwayne. He's definitely an injury concern going forward. There is some risk on that PCL. It's not like it's getting better. Staying in Baltimore, he is an injury risk. But to say he's done. He's a young guy, bro. He's still got another 12 to 14 years of quarterbacking. He's not done. Maybe 10 to 12 at his running style. Who knows? But that's still a decade. That's still a decade, Dwayne. That's still a decade. Dwayne, you'll be picture yourself 12 years from now, Dwayne. That's when Lamar is considering stepping away. Done. Even I laugh at that. I'm very down on Lamar in Baltimore. I hear what you're saying, Axe. Going after and getting a proven product, especially Lamar, who's got a massive winning record in history of winning. Like his wins and losses, his ability to come in and command a team into a playoff contending team immediately. It's definitely a thought that runs through my mind, and I make it very evident and very clear that I believe all these teams are dropping the ball. I've said it before. It's borderline moronic, borderline ridiculous, borderline reckless, and borderline insane to not go get Lamar if you're the Atlanta Falcons. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Are you really believing Ritter's taking you to a Super Bowl? No, the answer is no. Even the Ravens got to believe that Ritter's taking no one to a Super Bowl. Okay? And Lamar could take you to a Super Bowl. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe you don't win a Super Bowl with Lamar, but you certainly have a shot. Anybody that thinks Lamar going to the Falcons doesn't put them in the best possible position, at least, to win a Super Bowl is got faulty logic, and they're just biasly against Lamar. Andrews was
Why everybody high on that guy from Florida?
How they what?
See, why everybody high on that guy, that quarterback from Florida? He never really done nothing in the SEC, you know?
Oh, you're talking about Anthony Richardson?
Yeah, Rich.
Right.
I mean, Richardson, bro, is you. I mean, that's the whole point of the NFL draft, my guy. Like, I get what you're saying. Would you rather have Lamar than the NFL draft? Smitty, try calling in, but it just hangs up. Try again, bro. I got the phone line open here. I'm looking at it. Try calling in, Thomas. That's the point of the NFL draft, my guy, is you're trying to predict who that next quarterback is. You're taking some gambles. You're taking some risks. He's the number one, the most athletic prospect to ever enter the NFL draft. Not just talking about quarterback position. Richardson might be the most athletic player to ever test at the combine or come out of college. Doesn't mean it translates into a quarterback. There's a lot that needs to be, looked at for that. But it's 100%, a road that a lot of teams won't travel down, and it's definitely one of those roads that a lot of teams would travel down. And I think if you put him in the right hands, if you put Anthony Richardson in New York, which he's probably not going there, They got Danny Dimes, and I don't think New York's trading up for him. If you put Anthony Richardson in the hands of Dable, I think he'd turn Richardson into a monster. But I agree that there's some concern that he's kind of raw. He doesn't have a ton of experience, and there are some mechanical things that need to be fixed, but I think those are fixable. It just depends where he goes. You know,
it's the biggest home run swing in the entire draft is whether he pans out or not.
Welcome, Steven.
How you doing, Smitty?
I'm pretty good.
Good.
What else? What else you got, Steven?
I don't know. I think this reinforces a Lamar movement somewhere. Atlanta would be great. I don't know at this point. I've got, as a Ravens fan, I'm just kind of, we dropped the ball 2 years ago in order to get something done, and it's just sucked. Haven't been able to keep him on the field, and I don't know. It's a little depressing. Not gonna lie.
I don't know if it makes it more likely he's on the move, though, Steven, because now you have teams that are going to potentially send offer sheets that might not meet the standards of Lamar. Or maybe a team gets shaken, into reality and says, you know what? We got to do it. We got to pay the price. Look at, like maybe someone needed to watch someone else spend some money, and then maybe they slap an offer sheet down after the NFL draft that is a big amount. Like, it's possible. But there's also
we've been talking about this for a long time. You figured that nothing's going to happen until after the draft. We're just most
likely. But my whole point is that this could go 100 different ways. But I'm probably guessing that this is going to put Lamar Jackson into a headspace where he wants more money, or at least exactly the same expectation level that he had, that he might have been wavering on and saying to himself, I could potentially accept less money than I originally wanted to get this thing all done and over with. I think this contract right now makes it to where it's not probably happening anymore. Lamar folding at all, even a little bit, is probably not happening. Lamar's going to see this $110 million fully guaranteed at signing, $126.5 fully guaranteed before year 2. Now Lamar's looking at his $133 million deal, 3-year deal, fully guaranteed, as not as good as of a contract, where we were all looking at that 133 3-year fully guaranteed deal that the Ravens offered him as, oh my God, I can't believe he didn't take that. And Lamar laughed at it. And now Lamar's going to laugh at it even more because Jalen Hurts got $126.5 million fully guaranteed by year 2. If Lamar's smart, he'll hire an agent, but he's not smart, unfortunately. Not in this realm, not in this ballpark, not in this part of the...
Nobody's going to sign him to a 5-year deal either. I think it's going to be like 3, you know what I mean? I don't know, 150 for 3 years fully guaranteed. I mean, that's what
he should take that, but now maybe he doesn't. Hold on, hang tight, Steven. Area code 253, what's your name, bro?
Hey, what's up, Smitty? My name is Thomas from Seattle, Washington.
Thomas, what's up, Thomas?
What's up, Thomas?
What's up, man? I'm just calling in to say hi. I'm listening to your show. It seems super delayed.
What seems delayed?
Like, I'm listening to your show, and you're talking right now, but I'm listening to you.
It's all. There's always like a little YouTube delay, bro. So just turn down the YouTube show. Listen. Listen on the phone, bro. What do you got? Speak to me on the Lamar and Jalen Hurts situations, bro.
Shoot, I don't know much about that right now. I know. I just feel like Lamar should have took his deal when he was offered the 144 guaranteed or whatever, and just ate it for 3 years and then read up.
Yeah, not going to happen now because of, like I said, this 126 fully guaranteed before 2 years. That's going to make Lamar think he's going to deserve way more than 133 fully guaranteed on 3 years. Lamar's going to want more. And, I mean, you never know. Maybe maybe this leads to some sort of compromise. Maybe this leads to a team like even the Ravens wanting to pay more because now the market's been set higher. Who knows? But at the end of the day, I can't imagine Lamar Jackson being more comfortable folding a little bit. I can't see. a team.
Maybe the Ravens want him back if he asked for. If he already said he wants to leave.
You what?
I'm saying, why would the Ravens fans want him back if he already said he wants to leave?
Because you guys want a quarterback, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, do you really want to roll with Huntley? Or if you're, I like Huntley. I think Huntley's got some upside. But if you're asking me Lamar versus Huntley, there's no question. The wins are there. The proven record's there. It's not as good of a situation. The Ravens could win a Super Bowl with Lamar if they surrounded him with weapons. That's the most frustrating part to me. And you get people in here that say, oh, he had Andrews, Smitty. There's enough weapons. There aren't enough weapons. He had almost enough weapons when he had Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews. He was an MVP caliber quarterback. He was an MVP player. He was an MVP player. And then they traded away Hollywood Brown, his top wide receiver. So I don't want to hear that Lamar Jackson's had enough weapons to do well. He did. He started to, and then the Ravens traded away Hollywood Brown. My whole thing is that if the Ravens have a shot at a Super Bowl, it is through Lamar. It is through Lamar with Andrews and another player. I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. is enough. I think Odell Beckham Jr., if he could stay healthy, maybe he could be, but he's not going to stay healthy. If you lean on Odell and you lean on him to the tune of a wide receiver one, he's going to break. So it's a paper tiger situation with Odell. They need somebody like a Hopkins. If the Ravens kept Lamar and went and got Hopkins today and said, you know what, Lamar, we'll do whatever it takes. We'll take the contract on, which is going to be hard to do if they're going to give Lamar his money and also bring in Hopkins' contract. And Hopkins did say he doesn't need a raise, but he's not going to take a pay cut. So you got to pay a big amount of money or get Arizona through draft pick trading or a player, get Arizona to eat a lot of the contract. But if I'm the Ravens, I bring in Hopkins, I have Odell, I sign Lamar, and you have the best shot you're ever going to have at a Super Bowl. Plain and simple. Let's real quickly go over to Scott. Scott, you're live.
Hey, Smitty.
What's up, Scott?
Yeah, think about it is, man. You're 1,000% right. Lamar has never had the talent.
Around him.
Marquise Brown is good, but he's no A.J. Brown. He's not even in the same league as A.J. Brown. So, I mean, you give Jalen Hurts all these weapons that he has, and he's going to do good. But Lamar has never had the kind of talent he needs around him in his entire career. If you started watching him in college here at the University of Louisville, he was running for his life, brother.
Yep.
That's how he ended up. How he ended up with the trophy. So it's just I believe in him, and he's just not getting the right talent around him. I don't understand it.
Yeah. It's crazy, bro. Steven, I know you're dying to interrupt. So rather than let you interrupt somebody, let me go back to Steven real quickly, let him get his point across, and then we'll swing on over to somebody else. Steven, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't really have much of a point to make at this point. I was just listening to the other callers, and, I didn't really have anything to contribute because it just makes me sick to my stomach at this point. So,
Steven's made of like, I don't know. Your skin is made of like steel, Steven. Things bounce right off you. No matter what I say, Steven's just solid as can be.
Water off a duck's back.
Yeah, he just like, Steven, you're going to interrupt me. Why don't you go ahead? I'm fine, Smitty. Steven, you're an angel. Remain an angel, though. Stay as quiet as you can. Let others talk. And then you can somehow stay on the line without getting booted off. Steven,
okay, but I mean, I don't want to be booted, but there may be something that comes up that I get passionate about. I'm not sure. I'm
once
still,
in a while,
digesting this whole mess.
Once in a while, interruptions are okay, but you just make sure you don't think it's the Steven show. That's when you end up getting the thumbs down and the boot. Bruce, let's go back over to Brucey.
Hey, yo, is he the one that made the Jamal Williams show?
I forget. I forget. Jamal Williams? Maybe.
I'm saying, are you the one? Is he the one that made the little? Like the clip you did with the Jamal Williams
Oh,
clip?
yeah. No, that was Denny. I'm sorry, that was Denny.
Okay, my bad. Okay, all right. That
Yeah,
feels
he's
funny.
Denny. He's Denny. No, but Steven's the one where like I'm like, hey, what's going on, Thomas? You're live, and all of a sudden Steven goes, hey, Thomas, what's going on, man? Like
That's right. I listen to you guys every day. I know. I got it now. Right on.
Steven tries to take over sometimes. I think Steven thinks he's a co-host. I don't blame him. You know, he loves the show that much. Go ahead, Brucey.
My thing is with the Colts and the 4th pick, I don't think Irsay would have went because he did go on the McAfee show, and he did say, and I quote, if I have to get rid of the 4th pick just to get a quarterback Lamar's caliber, I would do it. So what do we think of Irsay saying that? The owner.
Here's the problem. Guys, be kind to each other in the chat, please. No one needs to call each other a clown. We're a community. We're a family. Please hug and make up. Handshake and make up. I think that here's the problem with that logic, okay? I'm not saying that I wouldn't give up the number 4. And Axe said that at the beginning of his call, and he's correct. Like, if you're the Colts, I'd trade the number 4 in a heartbeat for Lamar Jackson. Problem is, you also have to pay him. So it's like you have draft capital. You also have the payment. You also have the fact that you can't do that. You can't even do this right now. Right now, the Ravens are on the expectation that they're getting 2 first-rounders. They're not going to just bow down to 1 first-rounder because nobody signed Lamar to an offer sheet. The Ravens have a game to play in this too. Same with Lamar. Extending this thing out, right, until after the draft. Because once this draft is over, all these teams that aren't acting might become players in the Lamar Jackson sweepstake because then they no longer have to surrender these high draft picks. Every team that needs Lamar right now is inside the top 15, top 16. Washington at 16, New England at 14, Tennessee at 11, some would say Houston at 12. You've got the Falcons at 8. You've got the Lions, who some say would be interested in Lamar still. You've got the Colts at number 4. All of these teams have a top 16 overall draft pick. They don't want to surrender those in conjunction with another 2024 first rounder because an offer sheet requires 2 first rounders, right? 2023, 2024. So everybody's waiting for the draft to be over so these high draft capital picks get spent. And then people are going to be more careless with future first rounders, right? Let me give up at 24 and 25. We don't even know where those first rounders will be. Not to mention Lamar will have a hand in making the 24 and 25 first rounders later picks, right? If you acquire Lamar and you give up your 24 and 25 first round picks, those picks now become later picks because you have a better quarterback. You're going to have a better team. Everything improves. But the problem right now is that the Ravens have a similar game and strategy involved, saying to themselves, okay, if we could even trade Lamar, and they can't trade Lamar. Lamar can't be traded right now. He hasn't signed his non-exclusive tag. So he's not under contract. If Lamar signs his non-exclusive tag and you convince him to, then you can make a trade. Like if you said, Lamar, this is in your best interest. If we have you sign, we'll trade you immediately. He might come to the table and do that. But the problem is Lamar wants to wait out the NFL draft to see what's on the other side of the curtain in terms of offer sheets, right? Because of what I just mentioned, teams will be willing to do it after this draft is over. These teams with high picks will now participate maybe in an offer sheet. But also, the Colts would give up 1 pick, but they can't because the Ravens are also expecting that offer sheet game to kick into high gear. So if the Ravens are saying, well, after the NFL draft, we expect 2 or 3 teams to have interest in an offer sheet. Now they're going to get 2 first rounders. So why would they settle for the number 4 overall pick if they could get 2 first rounders? Maybe they have their eye on Anthony Richardson. The problem is at number 4, you're not guaranteed him. Like the Cardinals, they don't want a quarterback, so they don't want Lamar. But if this was the 3rd round, the 3rd overall pick, maybe. And maybe when the Colts are on the clock and Anthony Richardson's still there, if the Cardinals take a defensive player and don't trade that number 3, maybe the Colts would, consider something. But again, Lamar has to be signed to his non-exclusive tag, so it's not even in play. I understand what you're saying, and it certainly is more complicated than would you just take the number 4 overall pick? Because honestly, the Colts would consider it. but you also have to pay him, so it becomes hard. It becomes hard to do. Let's go over to Ron Navy real quick. Ron Navy, what's up? You're live.
Hey, Smitty.
What's up, man?
Yeah, the first part, I saw the first part, then I had to stop because my physical therapist came and had to do that. But, no, don't you think that it just increases Lamar's chances of getting more money, the money that he wants now that deal with Hurts came out, and then and these teams that were maybe frigid on Lamar at first as far as that much money, now that, the bar's been set above Deshaun Watson's numbers, now they're seeing, they have to see, okay, we're going to have to pay this money to get this quality of quarterback.
Yeah, as I said at the top of the show, this could go both ways. It could go to where it kickstarts the teams that were like, kind of like in an auction when no one wants to spend any money. And then once somebody drops $80 out of a $200 purse on a running back, everyone's like, okay, this is what we're dealing with, okay? And then teams are willing to spend money. That certainly could be one of the ways this plays out, But we're also, the thing we got to be careful of is assuming that we know what's going to happen after the NFL draft. Once these 2023 draft picks are spent, there might be 2 or 3 teams waiting to pounce on Lamar, and we just don't know it because they're not going to telegraph that. There's no advantage in telegraphing it. So we don't really even know if this even affects that. We don't know if it affects it for the good or the bad, or it has no effect at all. It just makes a team say, darn it, we're going to have to pay more now, but we're going after him anyway. Look, we have no clue what's on the other side of the curtain after the NFL draft, but I agree with you that it could go in that direction. I also think this could go in a direction where Lamar's expectation just got hired, and now he's definitely not going to sign. So it could go either way. I totally agree. It could be the case you're talking where a team says, well, there goes that whole argument that the NFL teams were all going to band together and not give guaranteed money. No one cares about 230 fully guaranteed. It's all about how much is fully guaranteed. And as Drew Rosenhaus mapped out, if he was Lamar's agent and he made a plea on a podcast. He said, Lamar, let me come in. I'll give you a bigger discount than normal. Let me come in. And they said, what would you do, Drew Rosenhaus, who's the number one agent that I can think of that could get a deal done immediately? This guy's a master. And he said it's all about getting creative and coming up with a better deal. You don't have to have the exact deal. You come up with a deal that gets you to guaranteed money faster than anybody in NFL history. And maybe you don't have the same deal, but you have a different, better deal. And so this is a prime example of, look, Deshaun Watson Jalen Hurts didn't get Deshaun Watson's deal. He didn't get 230 fully guaranteed, but he got something different. He got 110 fully guaranteed at signing, third most ever, and 126.5 fully guaranteed by year 2. And he got 179 fully guaranteed dollars. And this guy's going to get a new contract before his 5 years is up. So he's going to be in a prime position to in a newer market with bigger money, where this is a small contract by the time this is at the end of it. He's going to be able to get a big fat, deal. So like Drew Rosenhaus could paint that picture in a way that you're like, oh yeah, actually that makes sense. Like Lamar Jackson, all he needs to get, if you look at Deshaun Watson's $46 million per year, let's call it $50 million per year. $50 million per year times 3 is obviously $150. $150 fully guaranteed dollars on a 3-year fully guaranteed deal is something the Ravens, I think, would toy with. And that's all Lamar needs to accept, is because that's a better deal than Deshaun Watson's. It doesn't matter that Deshaun Watson got 230 fully guaranteed. What matters is that the contract is different and better in some way, and that would be because that would be $50 million guaranteed a year. But to your point, and not to your point, Ron, we don't know how it's going to affect Lamar's thinking and his asking price, which was already higher than it probably should have been. Now he thinks he's Jalen Hurts. Now, if he wants more than Jalen Hurts now, because every quarterback wants to one-up the next one. If he truly in his mind, and he might think he deserves more, then I don't know what kind of mindset that's going to put him in. But who knows? Hopefully this triggers the right combination of what you're saying and the right combination of after the NFL draft, we already had players that were ready to get involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To me, taking your team to a Super Bowl outweighs winning MVP. So I think Hurts is worth more than Lamar. So he might think he's worth more, but if I'm an owner, I'm thinking that, you know, you're worth a little less than Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts has actually been to the dance and shown, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
team to the Super Bowl.
Hopefully Hurts or Lamar has that knowledge in there somewhere, that, you know, in that expectation.
Yeah.
And that's fire. Thank you for the super chat. That's fire. It says Hurts and Watson over Allen, Fields, and Lamar. Oh, come on, bro. Hurts, in my opinion, is in his own tier. Mahomes and Burrow, Hurts, and Watson are all elite decision makers. I don't know how you can put... I appreciate your super chat. I want to say that first before I tear into this thing. How on earth can you put Deshaun Watson in Mahomes, Burrow, and Hurts' tier, bro? That's just disrespectful. But I appreciate you and your super chat. But this guy, that's fire, loves Watson so much.
Fields is garbage, so...
Yeah, I don't know how. Fields is him. Fields is going to be an absolute monster this year. Just buckle up for it. But hey, I appreciate that's fire. He's very passionate about Deshaun Watson. I don't know why, but he is, and I respect that at least. So, appreciate you. That's fire regardless. But I definitely disagree with you. Frakes says Hurts has shown more growth in a little amount of time compared to Lamar. Keep in mind how many people hated Jalen Hurts walking into last year. It's crazy. We have so many receipts all over the live stream and the comments. There were so many Jalen Hurts haters. And there's so many Eagle haters now that run their mouth about the Eagles falling apart walking into 2023 because they lost some people. And they've got the 10 and 30 overall picks. The Eagles, look, I said this at the beginning of the show. The Eagles have a fast pass that they just show at the gate. And they get into the NFC Championship game at least every other year. I might be exaggerating that a little bit, but I feel like that's the feel that the Eagles have. They have a fast pass to the NFC Championship game, and it's just about teams rotating through to see who faces them. Like, Hurts is that good. Single-handedly can walk this team into that kind of positioning because he has enough supporting cast. Even if, let's say, A.J. Brown got hurt or Devontae Smith got hurt, he still got Goddard and the other wide receiver. You can't say that about Lamar right now. You could have when he had Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown and Andrews was equivalent to Goddard and one wide receiver. And that's not to say that you can even comparatively call this an apples-to-apples comparison, because the offensive line in Philly's fire. The defense was great, despite what a lot of people want to say about it. There's a lot better team in general, you know, but I'm just saying, like, if Hollywood Brown was still there and Andrews, Lamar was capable of marching this team into the playoffs and winning a couple playoff games. Lamar needs more than Odell. Odell's not better than Hollywood when Hollywood was traded. Let's make that point abundantly clear. But will they bring in Hopkins? Will they do the right thing to surround Lamar with talent? Or are they going to say to themselves what I'm saying? I really believe Lamar Jackson's a liability at this point for the Ravens, because if he comes back and plays on his $32 million non-exclusive tag, Ron, Axe, Steven, whoever else is on the line right now, he's a vulnerability. He's a liability, because if he gets banged up at all, he's worried about what's on the other side of that 1-year deal. And do you think he's, just like last year, do you think he's going to run out onto the field banged up? He's not. So if you think you're winning on Hurts' $32 million contract in 2023, you're sadly mistaken. So, Steven, being a Ravens fan, the last thing you want is Lamar playing on a 1-year, $32 million deal, because you will not get the Lamar Jackson you want. You're going to get a guy that's worried about his contract. You're going to get a guy that feels disrespected. You're going to get a guy that's not going to have his heart in it, and therefore he's not going to walk on the field injured. If he's banged up at all and he's got a stretched out PCL that almost required surgery, and it's not going to heal fully, he's going to have a little bit
and
of.
That's why we need to move off of him.
Exactly, but will you? Will you move off of him? Will the Ravens have enough smarts to get this done? I don't know.
I agree. Also, I agree, Smitty. He's looking out for himself. You know what I'm saying? He wants that money, like, you know, in case he gets hurt. And then when he gets that money, he'll feel more confident, you know, probably for the team, and go out there and play to his fullest.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think he should hire him an agent and let go of mommy, because apparently she don't have enough connections to get the deals done. You know, I would hire an agent. If he'd have had a real agent, he'd have been had a done deal.
Yeah. How do you? Hey, let's play a little game, okay, Axe? Let's pretend I'm calling you. You're Lamar's mom, okay? How does this conversation go? Ready? Hey, this is the Indianapolis Colts. Mrs. Jackson, how's it going?
Oh, everything's going good.
We were wanting to potentially talk about your son coming over to Indy. What are you looking for in terms of a contract?
I want the Sean Watts money.
Hold on a second. Let me stir this pot of chili that I've got cooking on the stove right next to the fax machine, which I'm talking to you on right now, because this is how we negotiate deals here in Casa de Lamar. Like, this, it's ridiculous, man. This guy better get an agent and get an agent fast. The problem is you're going to look so defeated, and you're tucking your tail between your legs. You're admitting defeat. The last thing in the world he's going to do is hire an agent at this point. He's so in. He's all in on this. Isaac says, I'm in Philly.
It's almost like he feels like he's the first one through some sort of this wall of players taking control, like falling on the sword or something.
Right.
And, brother, man, this ain't the time.
Yeah, and I think Ron said this before, like, and I agree with Ron in some respect. Like, he's paving a way for certain players that maybe need this. Okay, great. I mean, I do understand a little bit of that, and I do feel like Lamar is sort of, in some way, helping pave a way for maybe somebody that wants to take that avenue. But a lot of players don't want to do that. Like, I mean, for example, in any industry, you could look at how Odell Beckham Jr. handles it. He had his agent bring him to the owners meeting, and they basically had this facade, because we all thought that teams were all over Odell. Did we all not feel that way? Because that's the way his agent and Odell painted the picture. And what did we find out? There weren't that many suitors for Odell. And the moment the Ravens offered him his $18 million contract, he jumped on it because he wasn't getting any offers that were remotely close. It was all about the money, right? He got a big fat contract. Nobody was willing to pay that. And we all thought teams were, because his agent made it look like that. And if anybody thinks that all players want to negotiate their own deals, I don't think they understand how hard it is to be an NFL player. You have so much to worry about. The last thing, it's worth paying an agent to handle everything. You have a problem, call an agent up. You're playing on a trampoline, you fall off and hurt your leg, and in your contract it says you're not allowed to jump on trampolines. Hey, I'm calling my agent. He's going to take care of this. Your agent does everything. Has somebody not watched the show Entourage? Has somebody not watched the show on HBO with The Rock, where he was an agent for NFL players? And it really is a very accurate depiction of what these players, they get in so much trouble all the time, and we don't hear about half of it. There's always something going on. Hey, my buddy had a party. Somebody got hurt. Hey, somebody got caught doing it. Like, your agent handles all of that. There's a reason why Odell is walking around going, I've got, around the owners meeting, I've got all these offers. I'm going to let my agent paint this picture. There's a valuable piece. Yeah, Ballers. Thank you, Frank. That was a great show on HBO. Ballers is good. And it shows you how much an agent does. And a lot of it's true. A lot of it's based on true stories from players. Players get themselves in a mess constantly. And for Lamar Jackson to literally think he's paving a way for all players, and only a very small select number of players even want to deal with this. They want to just go play football. They want to focus on their craft. They want to train. They don't want to deal with any of that. It's worth paying somebody. It's like the best way to describe this is like negotiating your own home loan and being your own real estate agent. Could every single one of us be our own real estate agent? Absolutely, we could. Could every one of us save money if we were to do that? Absolutely. But is it worth it? Probably not. In a lot of your cases, in my case, I'd rather pay someone to take care of that than to have the stress added to my life and to not be able to focus on what I do and make money and do all this elsewhere. So it's like it's kind of a weak argument to say he's paving the way for a lot of people when we don't even think there's a big need for this. Maybe the guy making $1 or $2 million a year, which, poor him. That guy might need to negotiate his own deal, and the team's going to probably look out for him too. They're probably going to have their own attorney look at stuff. He's probably going to get what he wants out of that. But somebody working a $250,000 deal like Lamar, ridiculous. This is ridiculous, and it's reckless. It's stupid. It's the dumbest thing I've seen in a long time. Trying to negotiate your own $250,000 deal with your mom in the kitchen with the fax machine.
Billion with a B.
Right.
Or $250 million, sorry.
Well, all right, Smitty, I'm going.
All right, appreciate you, bro. I'm gonna get you guys off the line anyway. We'll be back for the 7 p.m. show. Thank you, Axe. We'll see you later, pal. Steven, final words. Parting words.
Just earlier, the reason why I say hello to the other callers that call in and I say hello in the chat is I'm just being polite. I'm not trying to overtake your show.
I'm kidding with you, Steven, partially. Okay? Steven, you have a role here. We don't want you to change for anything. I want you just the way you are, bro, when you call in. That might mean that we hang up on you from time to time, but Steven, we need that. We need that, Steven. You're a part of this show, whether you like it or not. And that
he needs to learn his math.
Yeah. So don't.
I just want you to understand, everybody to understand that when I do that, when I talk to another person or hear another person talk, I always like to say hello and introduce myself or something like that.
Yeah, I know, Steven.
That's just me being polite.
You do it out of place sometimes, and we love that about you. And sometimes we'll hang up on you, but that's just part of the Steven experience. Okay, so you keep doing you. Don't change for anybody, and we'll see you later, pal. Call in at 7 p.m.
Gentle.
Later. That's an angel right there. That's the sound of an angel. Let's go to Thomas from Seattle. Final thoughts, bro.
Hey, Smitty. I didn't really have much on this topic. I was going to say I love your show. I listen to you on my work Tuesday through Saturday. I'm at work, so I listen to you every day at work, and I just finally grew enough balls to call in and whatnot. So and this year is my first year doing Dynasty, so I've been I watch all your podcasts and everything. I'm trying to get as enough knowledge as I can. I'm picking from the 112 spot, so it's going to be tough.
It's gonna be. Hey, let's give Thomas a standing ovation for the size of his balls.
What the hell?
For calling in. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate.
All right.
Appreciate you, Steven. Thomas, call in anytime. I've got you on the bat line. So when you call in, I'm going to see you. I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer. More likely going to answer. So call in anytime. Don't be scared to call in, Thomas. This is your home.
Hey, something doesn't matter, but I got a little bit of a speech impediment, man, so I get embarrassed to call in. But
we haven't even noticed. There's absolutely no reason to worry about that. Thomas, we got your back. You're always welcome here. You got a fast pass into this phone line, so dial in more often. And I want to thank you, bro. I work for you, first of all. And while you're at work listening to the show, you're helping the show grow. Please spread the word. Please continue to listen while you're at work. Nothing is more gratifying than hearing that people are like, you're a part of my day. I listen to you at work every single day when I'm doing this, doing that. Absolute phenomenal thing to hear. Appreciate you, man. Call in anytime.
I'd say, hey, bro, like your nighttime shows, I listen to like 6 hours on Saturday because you don't go live much. So I just rewatch or listen to the shows like all day Saturday. So I get caught up on your shows, and I love your show, and
Attaboy.
I love all the work you do for us.
All right, man. Call in anytime.
All
Later.
right. All right, bro. Later.
Scott, final words.
I'm
Hello?
just sick and tired of hearing people not putting in there that Lamar Jackson has not had the talent around him ever. There's no way, Ron Navy, that you're going to tell me you're going to put Hollywood Brown and A.J. Brown in the same category. I'm sorry. Jalen Hurts has a lot more talent, a better offensive line, and a hell of a lot better defense than Lamar Jackson has ever had.
Yeah, I don't think Ron. I don't think Ron was.
say.
I don't think Ron was saying that. I think anybody that said anything along those lines is merely saying at one point he's had it and now he doesn't. I don't know that anybody's arguing that. I think it's saying that Hurts is just a better player. Like, I personally believe, and Scott, you're welcome to your own opinion on Lamar over Hurts. I mean, look, there's an argument that could be made. I don't agree with it, but it could definitely be made. He's a winning quarterback. His record is amazing. But I think what Ron's saying, and I agree with it, is that Hurts is just on another level, you know, and he deserves that payday. Lamar is going to have a hard argument to get it right now. Let's say he goes to Indy. Let's say he goes to Atlanta. Let's say he goes to Washington. I really think the Washington Commanders is a dark horse Lamar Jackson landing spot when this new ownership comes in, led by Magic Johnson and the boys, and they're going to come in and say, whoa, what did the previous owner say? He didn't want Lamar Jackson. Here's Magic, who's a pro player co-owner, and you don't think he's going to walk in and say, let's take care of this player? He's probably going to be very pro Lamar Jackson, I would guess. And I think the Washington Commanders are going to be a story that people start talking about. They came in, this new ownership came in, and they can't come in until May. The owners meeting in May when they vote yes or no on the new ownership. They got to do that. That's going to be in May. So the draft's going to be over. That means Lamar's got to linger out there through May, maybe June. And if he's still urged to not come home to Baltimore and he just sits out there and waits, and maybe Magic reaches out to him, maybe he knows something's coming down. But if the Commanders come in and say, hey, new ownership in town, we're going to give you a big payday, Lamar's going to benefit and finally have weapons. And then maybe he gets the contract he wants on top of that too, right? Maybe they pay him for what they believe he can do. But let's say they give him a 3-year, $150 fully guaranteed deal like he's kind of wanting. In 2 years, he's going to re-up, bro. Not 3 years. 2 years, he'll re-up, and he'll get the payment that you're talking about if he proves himself in Washington and get Jalen Hurts money. I think what Ron's saying is Jalen Hurts has already earned it because he's marched into an NFC championship game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Super
but
Bowl. Super Bowl. Sorry, Super Bowl. Yeah, Super Bowl.
He went to the Super Bowl, and this is what I got to say. This is Ron. So Deshaun Watson, yes, Lamar deserves more money than Deshaun Watson. I think Lamar is more talented than Deshaun Watson. But now, okay, so we know Lamar wants a set amount of money. He wanted Watson money. But now if Lamar changes his mind and looks at Hurts' deal and says, well, I deserve Hurts' deal, I disagree with that because Hurts rushes just as effectively as Lamar does. But and see, the thing Lamar had was he was MVP a couple years ago, and Deshaun Watson wasn't. But now you got Hurts doing everything he's done with his team, and I think Hurts deserves higher pay. Not saying that Lamar doesn't deserve what he wanted to begin with, but if Lamar thinks that he should get more money than Hurts, he's crazy right now.
Yeah, the problem is going to be, Scott, if this makes Lamar think, okay, now my price went up. No one wants to pay Lamar that because he's been injured and disappointed for 3 straight years, none of which is all his fault, a lot of which is the Ravens' fault, but it is what it is. And so, you know, he's going to have an expectation level that is not living inside that top tier quarterback value range. He just can't. He can't expect
I just don't think it's comparing apples to apples.
We agree. I agree with you 100%. But you can't ask for tier 1 money, which is now a new number, when you haven't necessarily done what these other quarterbacks have done. Burrow's totally earned that extension, bro, that he's about to get. Herbert might not. You could argue Herbert and Lamar are in the same boat. I'm not saying Herbert's not going to become better, so nobody get all upset in the comments about my projection of Herbert's career. I'm just saying Herbert and Lamar are in the same boat. Neither has proven what Jalen Hurts has proven or what Burrow has proven. And some would even be critical over Hurts and Burrow not winning a Super Bowl yet. But the fact that these two quarterbacks are continuously marching their team into the promised land, or Hurts will be, I have no doubt Hurts will continue to do that. They deserve that top tier money. Lamar and Herbert, they're going to have to get a tier below, accept it, and then go earn that second bag. This is the bottom line. It doesn't mean that the upside's not there for Lamar, but bro, Lamar needs to get into a new situation, because guess what? If he goes back to Baltimore and plays on his $32 million deal, this could be worse next offseason than better. Because what if he gets hurt again? Then everyone's going to say, bro, that's 4 years in a row he's busted. He's been injured a majority of that time. I don't trust him at all. I'm not giving him near Jalen Hurts money. Whereas now he can sniff it. He can sniff it. He's got to get creative. He's got to accept a creative deal. And he didn't. He was offered $133 million fully guaranteed, $175 if he gets injured, and he laughed at it. He laughed at it, bro. $133 fully guaranteed. That is a bag. Not to mention, again, you're re-upping after 2 years of that. So it's not like that's all he gets. He's going to get a monster. The thing a quarterback wants most is a short deal. Because if you sign a 10-year deal like Mahomes did, it's very team-friendly, and it doesn't allow you to re-inject yourself into the new, amount of money being talked about and kicked around 2 or 3 years from now. Because look how everybody laughed at Deshaun Watson's deal. Like no one's ever going to sniff that again, or no one should. Jalen Hurts just toppled it, even though it didn't hit the same numbers it did in other areas. And that's what Drew Rosenhaus was saying. You just got to beat that contract in a different way, in a different angle. And Lamar had that. Now I don't know what Lamar's expectation is. I got to jump for now. Scott, call in tonight. All right, pal? We'll be live at 7 p.m.
All right, brother.
Later. Ron Navy, any final words?
No, that's just about it. I mean, just Lamar and the Ravens, they pretty much the Ravens shot themselves in the foot. They probably should have maybe offered, you could say easily, they could have offered Lamar and actually saved money. Now it could be costing them money because these other teams after the draft could come in, and because of Hurts' deal, offer him more to where the Ravens will end up having to pay more to keep him than they would have if they just would have conceded to what he wanted to begin with.
Yeah, agreed.
That's all I guess.
Yeah, it definitely could go in 100 different directions. I think we don't know what direction it's going to go, but we definitely feel like this could have a reaction on either way, in either direction. The Ravens could get absolutely burned on this because they could be further from signing Lamar, and maybe in regret. They have regret about not giving him a little bit more than the 133 fully guaranteed, and maybe Lamar would have took it. And now, if they offer it, Lamar's going to want more, so Lamar's going to back off of maybe what they were willing to do. It's kind of like you're negotiating a car, you're a price, and you walk out, and you wish you didn't walk out. You're like, God, I was trying to play hardball. I walked out, and I really did like that last offer the dealership gave me. And then you go back and they no longer can do it. That's the way this feels like it could go. And at the end of the day, Lamar's going to want more. The Ravens, I just don't know how. If he goes back to Baltimore and plays on the $32 million deal, I think this is going to be really, really, really bad for the Ravens and Ravens fans, because Lamar's going to look out for himself that season. And you can't blame him, but at the same time, it's going to be frustrating to watch him get banged up and sit out the second part of the season or something on an injury. And he's going to look out for his contract. And so for that reason alone, if you don't have him on a long-term deal, the Ravens need to figure out a way to trade him, get him to sign his tag and move on. All right, Ron, I'll see you tonight.
And on the other hand, I'm stoked for Hurts, because Hurts is well deserving of that money. And it puts the Deshaun Watson deal kind of in the back in history now. It's no longer Deshaun Watson has the biggest contract. Now it's Hurts. The market's been reset. and now everybody can go off of Hurts and not the crazy Deshaun Watson stuff.
Yep, it is
That's
definitely a great point. It resets the framework of the guaranteed money, which is still astronomical, and it's still where these players, I think, are trying to get it to be. And it's not like it's low. I don't think the guaranteed money fell flat and everybody is like, crap. I think it's actually vaulted up where it was. It's just more the framework of the bigger contract doesn't have to be fully guaranteed anymore. It's not 155 fully guaranteed. It's, hey, how much money is guaranteed? 133? Okay, let's take that and make it into a $255 million contract. So in the case of Hurts, it's 179 fully guaranteed on a 255 contract, and that's totally acceptable. And you're right, it resets the expectation level of a Lamar. And you can now go to Lamar and say, no, bro, you're not getting 230 fully guaranteed, but we will give you 150. We'll give you 150 fully guaranteed, but in that we want it on a 4 or 5 year deal. We don't want to do the 3-year fully guaranteed anymore. And that's where he may have lost leverage, Lamar, in the Hurts deal. He may have lost the ability to get a 3-year fully guaranteed deal.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. All right, Ron, call back at 7 p.m. tonight.
All right.
Later.
Yep.
Thank you for the super chats, Isaac. Isaac says no two contracts are the same exactly. One contract may influence another, but it's not the rule. Browns needed a high-end QB, and only Watson was open to it. Correct. Every contract is different for sure. And like explained here, this Watson deal that he got is different than Hurts's deal, but Hurts's deal is better in some ways. And I think that's the important takeaway here. And that's why Lamar's got to have an agent to look at it that way. I'm in Philly, and local sports radio hated Hurts until last season. Hopefully he can keep their love. Bro, the Hurts hate is just absolutely ridiculous. Even now, it's still lingering out there. Like, oh, he doesn't deserve it. This guy's a monster. Absolute monster. I'll see you all at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for the super chats. Appreciate you all. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for making this the best show on YouTube, in my biased opinion. I'll see you all at 7 p.m. I'm live whenever news breaks. JSN to the Chargers, maybe, bro. Maybe Kincaid to the Chargers. We need a pass catcher, either Dalton Kincaid or Zay Flowers or Quentin Johnston or Addison or JSN to the Chargers at that 21 overall pick. We need it. We need it to test. We need it to happen. Broski, it needs to be done. Yeah, Lamar's not done. Space Ricky, I agree. I don't know why people are saying Lamar's toast or done. Those are ridiculous comments. Appreciate them. I appreciate everybody's comment, though. I'll see you all later. Later, Max. Later, Joseph. Later, AC. Later, Space Ricky. Later, Ron Navy. Later, That's Fire. Appreciate the super chat. See you, Travis, my man. Max. Hod. Cop Watch. Detest. Steven. D-Town. Someone find out where some of the regulars are that have just taken off the last couple months. I don't know if they don't do the off season or what, but where's Vampy? Where's Vamp? I haven't seen Vamp in a while. Someone get the bat phone out, or the bat signal. Bijan to the Chargers, maybe. See you all at 7 p.m.